Wow, okay. A lot to dismantle here because a lot of news has come out from Sony lately about the PlayStation 5 system. We're talking about system sales, game sales, and a proposed price hike that might be happening. We'll get right into that in just 1 second. Of course, do please like the video and subscribe for more content. So, Sony has recently talked about how many units they've sold, and they were asked a direct question about the PlayStation 5 and whether or not they would raise the price of the system, because they've been raising prices across the board, and so has Oculus or Meta or whatever you want to call them. We're seeing a lot of things go up in price. There's a lot of talk about inflation. And there's some weird stuff going on when it comes to sales with Sony. Now, Sony has sold 21.7 million PlayStation 5s. I know it doesn't feel like it because a lot of people are still hunting for them. I mean, that's less than 3 million less than were sold of PlayStation 4s by this time. So the fact that it's still this difficult to find a PlayStation 5 for so many people is quite crazy. They are up in system sales 4% year over year, though. I mean, I don't even know why they're counting because they're constantly selling out. To really hit that year-over-year goal anymore, they need to actually produce more systems. And again, like I've talked about in the past, we're not going to see a real meaningful amount of systems in the market until 2024 when they said it should be readily available. All of that being said, even though that the console sales are up, game sales are actually down. The first quarter of this year, they sold 47.1 million titles with 6.4 million first-party titles. Comparing that to last year at the same time, they sold 63.6 million titles and 10.5 million first-party. That's a pretty steep decline. And it kind of confirms what a lot of people, including myself, are saying, and that's the fact that there just really aren't that many games for the PlayStation 5 system. There really isn't a big reason to buy the system still. There's no system selling game that you have to buy the console for. Now, a lot of people are thinking that's going to be God of War, but still, that game is also going to be on PlayStation 4, so what's the point of owning a PlayStation 5? Again, I get it. You get the better graphics, you get the better frame rate, but it's hard for a game to be a system seller when it's also available on the other system. What's interesting is that even the PlayStation Plus year over year has dropped, going from 106 million to 102 million. That's not a number that makes sense to be going down right now, as they're selling millions of new consoles and the fact that PlayStation 5s are selling out, which again leads to another thing that I've talked about in the past, that these systems are not going straight into the hands of gamers, and because of that, PlayStation is losing money. PlayStation, yeah, it's great that they're selling these systems, but it's not great that it's just sitting in warehouses for scalpers because it's not making them money. The PlayStation 5 isn't the moneymaker. It's the vehicle for making the money. It is all the games that you buy along with the system. It's the PlayStation Plus. It's the microtransactions you make in the game. There are so many different ways that Sony makes money from PlayStation 5 users, not just purchasers. They barely make anything, if anything, off of the PlayStation 5 console itself. That's why whenever I see anybody blaming PlayStation for the fact that they can't get the PlayStation 5 system, or they're acting like somehow people scalping these systems is good for PlayStation, it's not. PlayStation's not getting that extra profit from these systems, which leads us to the question, will Sony raise the price of the PlayStation 5? Now, they've been asked this directly, and they did not comment, which says a lot to me, at least. If they weren't going to raise the price, why wouldn't they just say no? This means they're at least thinking about raising the price of the system, but how are they going to raise the price? That's really the question here. Are they going to raise the price by coming out with a new model that phases out the old one with a slightly higher storage amount? I mean, that would be the smartest way to go, in my opinion, if they really do want to raise the price of the system without pissing off everybody that has already been trying to buy the system and been unable to, and now not only were they not able to buy it, but now it costs more money. I mean, that's just going to piss off a huge amount of people, And the fact that there are so many people that are already incredibly upset with the fact that they can't buy a PlayStation 5 right off the shelf, and some people, I've seen it in my comments, are switching to Xbox because of this, because you can just go out and buy an Xbox Series S whenever you want. That's only going to make it worse. And the fact that we're seeing a drop in PlayStation Plus users, does that mean people are just getting sick of PlayStation and they don't really want to wait for those new games? Did that PlayStation Plus plan not work as well as they thought it would? Did they disenfranchise people by making this new PlayStation Plus to compete with Game Pass? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me, but these are all just things that are going through my mind as I look at these numbers. And the number one thing that I think is causing all of this, the lack of sales in games, the lack of more people getting PlayStation Plus, there's not enough new games to drive those sales, and there aren't enough new games that use the online capabilities of the system that make it worth even having PlayStation Plus. Honestly, I can't remember the last game I played online with my PlayStation 5. I mean, it's probably been months, and the only reason I have PlayStation Plus still is because I buy it by the year. So if there are people that have it running out and they just decide not to renew, I get it. There really aren't that many amazing online games on the PlayStation 5 right now, or even the PlayStation 4 that have just come out, that make it worth having that online subscription. With how easy it is to buy an Xbox Series S and the fact that Game Pass Ultimate, it does exist and is still a pretty great value, I kind of get these numbers. Now, I know Microsoft doesn't publish their numbers anymore, but they've already said that the Xbox Series systems are the best-selling Xboxes and the fastest-selling Xboxes ever, which I 100% believe just because of Game Pass. The fact that they have games from studios that they own and even from studios that they don't own coming to Game Pass on day one is huge. And PlayStation, I would argue, still needs something like that to compete. The fact that first-party PlayStation titles are not coming to the premium PlayStation Plus, that's a big hit against anybody even thinking about getting PlayStation Plus Premium. So I'm hoping this 4 million drop really does make them start thinking about how they can improve the PlayStation Plus Premium experience, and again, think more about bringing those first-party titles to PlayStation Plus Premium on day one, because that would just make it a better value, that would strengthen their competition against Xbox, and again, it would just show how competition is a good thing and only makes companies work harder for your dollar. But will PlayStation actually raise the price of the PlayStation 5? I mean, if they want to compete with Xbox, I don't think so, unless they make it a good value proposition. They would have to double the memory and only increase the price by about $50 in order to compete with Xbox, considering that PlayStation doesn't really have a budget option, whereas the Xbox Series S exists and is constantly on sale for around $250, and I've seen it go for even cheaper, which is crazy to me, considering how powerful that little console is. It's a steal at anything under $300. I mean, even at $300, it's a great value, so it'll be interesting to see what PlayStation does to compete with it. Let me know what you guys think down below, whether or not PlayStation will actually raise their price, or if you think them just not answering means that they are floating the idea around and they're trying to figure out what they might do, but they probably won't. I don't know. We'll have to see. Thanks for watching, everybody, and as always, have a fantastic day. See you, everybody.